And we are recording. We are going live. Hello, Enwei. How are you?
Good. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing fantastic. I was trying to think of when the last time we saw each other. Was it before Christmas?
I think so. I was like
It's
the beginning of December.
yeah, it's been a while. I was trying to figure out. It's like because of this crazy COVID thing and this double lockdown and all this other stuff. I was like, okay, when's the last time we talked and got together and talked about this? But for those who are listening today, we're going to be talking about all things traditional Chinese medicine, and I'm a big fan of it. I highly recommend Chinese medicine. I think it's fantastic. I think what you do is fantastic. You're an amazing healer. For
Thank
those
you.
who are listening, Anwei, if for a lot of people who don't know much about Chinese medicine, so what is the best explanation you can give people about what is traditional Chinese medicine?
Well, I guess again, Chinese medicine is I believe one of the most ancient medical systems still existing and widely practiced today. So it's based on a lot of Chinese philosophies, and based on we have complete theories, diagnostic methods, and treatment methods. And I think it's being practiced in most of the countries in the world nowadays. So in Chinese medicine, we believe, first of all, we are in balance with the nature. We're one in the nature. So nature can help us or nature can cause us sick. So that's one of the aspects I think is very unique to Chinese medicine. The other ones also Chinese medicine believe your body has the ability to heal itself, which I mean, we don't talk about that
Yeah.
nowadays. But like a lot of in Chinese medicine treatment, we're just trying to give the body the environment, the resources, and let it heal itself. So I think that's just two characters that really are unique, and I believe to separate Chinese medicine from other like healing modalities. And I mean, for us, for the Chinese medicine treatment, you know, people know most known as acupuncture. We do acupuncture, we do cupping, we do scraping, and even massage is part of it. Like Tui-Na massage is part of it, acupressure, and then we use herbs. And in Chinese medicine, we also have like stand-up diet suggestions, exercise, even like emotional work. Those are all parts. It's like very complex system, but it's all part of Chinese medicine.
Yeah, that's what I loved about it. It's so comprehensive. It's very holistic in its approach. And it's amazing. You know, I always find it fascinating that you could take a little needle and you could just put it in somebody's body. And then the profound changes. I know my own personal experience. And that's, again, a lot of it comes from my own personal experience is that you can put a needle in somebody and you can get such either like the pain relief or the emotion relief. And it's that movement of energy. Excuse me there. So how is like if you had to differentiate between naturopathic, because naturopathic medicine takes a lot from my understand Chinese medicine and they integrate it into their practice. How is that different between a naturopathic doctor and somebody who practiced traditional Chinese medicine? What's the difference in that?
Oh, I mean, they're also like naturopathic. They're a very holistic approach too. Just from my understanding, first of all, is they are based on almost like the native, like a lot of natural medicines based on North America. For example, for herbs, they would know more about the North American herbs, European herbs, versus us when we study Chinese medicine. Most of herbs are originated um, from China, and our like based the theories and diagnostic tools are based differently. And they do acupuncture as well. I believe when they learned the acupuncture is learned based on Chinese medicine or some other modern acupuncture modalities. But I think just basic the theories is different. For us, we're based on the whole Chinese medicine philosophy and diagnostic ways and treatment.
Okay. Yeah, because you know, a lot of people are trying to sometimes they get confused. It's like, okay, well, what's the difference between a Chinese medicine practitioner and a naturopathic doctor? I mean, a lot of it is intertwined. I've talked to a lot of naturopathic doctors on the show, and they talk about using acupuncture and some of the same philosophies that they kind of like picked from traditional Chinese medicine, and they integrated into their program. And it's really interesting because I know they both use herbs and stuff like that. I know herbs is a big part of traditional Chinese medicine too, as well. So if somebody was kind of like on the fence about going to see somebody who is a traditional Chinese medicine, what is some of the things that you guys do really well? What are a lot of things that people come to see a traditional Chinese medicine versus somebody going to like a naturopathic doctor, or let's say a regular physician?
And I would say, I mean, there's so many different practitioners. Everybody, we can see we specialize, but everybody has experiences more towards different things, right? For example, like even just for acupuncture, for us to treat them for pain controls, for using acupuncture combined with acupressures, tuna massage, were really good. I know my patients, they get really good feedbacks about pain controls. And for mine things also, I treat a lot of gynecological issues and digestive issues, right? So whoever is thinking to visit a physician or Chinese medicine practitioner, I'll see, understand what their strengths are, and then that's best fit your interest. And also Chinese medicine, as we said, as I mentioned earlier, we believe we are in one with the nature and our body has the healing property. So I would say for disease prevention, for any recoveries or any chronic disease, I think Chinese medicine really has the benefits and the strength in doing that.
Okay, yeah, that's that's one thing I love about traditional Chinese medicine. I'm always a big fan of proactive versus reactive medicine. I think it's very important that you got to really start taking care of your health. If things are creeping up in your body and you kind of know something's wrong, it's time to kind of, before it gets way out of hand and you get really sick and a real serious disease sets in. It's important to kind of get ahead of that and make sure that you get everything in balance. And I think
Yeah.
that's really, really important.
Yeah, in Chinese medicine, we separate like practitioners into superior type and general type. The superior type is actually to treat the disease before it actually happens to the patient. So prevention is such an important part. And as the normal practitioner, you just treat, as you said, treat as the disease comes, but we really focus on prevention. That's why we had those diagnostic tools, like even from your tongue, from your pulse, from your complexions, and we kind of like knows which organs, which system is out of balance, and we adjust it ahead of time, right? Because sometimes I have patients, oh, you said my liver has a problem, but I went to my blood test, everything's fine, it's normal, right? So it's like we are in the early stage. Nothing shows in your blood yet, but if you continue this way, there might be something down on the road you will see on your blood report.
Yeah, and that's really amazing. It's almost like you have an intuitive impression of, from the diagnostic abilities, that you can kind of see, prior to what's happening, because that's so true. Like you say, oh, my liver's fine. I don't know why. What do you mean my liver's got stagnation? What do you mean my liver's out of balance? But the understanding of, from my understanding, is that it's a very much energetic. And it's all about the energy of the liver. And a lot of it, that's what you're reading kind of too. It's like, okay, this is out of balance. And the understanding too is there's a lot of emotion that's trapped in these organs. And these kind of thoughts and ideas kind of get trapped in that and will cause certain things to kind of like cause these problems. And it's amazing because I've known in the past where it's like, I had lots of liver issues. I still got lots of liver issues, but and that holds emotion of anger. And it's amazing how you can stick a needle in there and you can almost feel the anger releasing out of the organ. All those emotions, all those thoughts, kind of, you're sitting on the table and then it's like, why am I feeling so angry? And you can just feel it dissipate and it just releases out. And then as that releases, the energy releases around the organ. And then you just kind of feel better. You kind of feel light. You kind of feel, wow, this actually feels really good.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like from we're trying to also, I always ask patients which version you want me to explain to you. Well, from Western medicine point of view, yeah, the needle puts in your body, releases endorphins and many other wonderful hormones which make you feel better. That's why you feel like released. Patients fell asleep on the table, they're so relaxed. Or the whole acupuncture, from my experience, a lot's based on, as you said, the energy vibration. So when we say you have liver qi stagnation, and if you're, which just means your liver is not vibrating at 100%, right? And through the needle, and through the work and stuff like that will just help your liver to regain that vibration and its own energy frequency.
Yeah. And it's really interesting, now there's this big talk and a big shifting in consciousness and thought processes. And, people, they're saying that we're shifting into a new vibration. And as somebody who basically is an energy worker, are you noticing different changes in people's bodies when, from over the years of your practice, if you notice that there's that shift and change where the body's trying to readjust to these new frequencies and energies, and they're still kind of holding on to the old ways, and you're kind of like, wow, this is really interesting. You can see how the shift in dynamics of the person's organs are shifting in that different directions.
Well, I do, and I do have patients who are very sensitive, and then they kind of like knows the changes of the energies. Or I think most of people are really out of touch from their body. So even when you said there's the dynamic big changes in the environment or frequencies, energy, I noticed during those critical times, their body's trying to hold the like old pattern. So it like I will see a rise of insomnias, anxieties, and stress like during this period of time, because you're just not in tune. So their body is trying to hold on what the old patterns is, and they'll fight through it. And that's a lot of issues, a lot of emotional issues rises up.
Yeah. So how do traditional Chinese medicine work on the emotional issues? Because I'm always a big fan of, working through emotions and healing the emotions. 'Cause I think that's something that it's really lost out there. There's not a lot of information. It's like, okay, there is the idea of mental health, but there's those emotions and thought patterns that really cause a lot of our problems. And it's that repetitive thinking and feeling that causes a lot of disease. So how does traditional Chinese medicine actually help with that?
Well, we are actually, I think, one of the only medical system is actually give each organ its emotions. For example, we talked about liver represents a lot of anger, and versus spleen presented for overthinking and all this. We give like, I'll give emotions to different organs. That's why I see how important it is. And we said that the emotions are one of the causes to leading to a lot of diseases, right? And we have a lot acupuncture points in the body are actually dealing with those. Like I think when I needle you, I do a lot of on the chest and inside of the hypochondria area. Those are a lot of emotional release points there. Again, for emotional patients coming, I think talking is a big part, and that's why our treatment is not 5-10 minutes. Our treatment is full hour session, because once you get patients open, once you know what is causing all this irritabilities, causing all those sadness and everything, or causing the stress, and that's how you, once you find the roots, you explain to them and talk to them, and that it depends on whether they would accept or not. Then that's, you accept it, then that's, I think that's the first step to leading to healing. And then sometimes, and I will use herbs too. For example, people with a lot of heat signs causing irritability, anger, I will use herbs to help them body physically to reduce that heat, and then they can be easier to cope with those cause of irritability. And I'm a big fan for meditation. So I think most of them patients come in with the emotional stress or stress emotion issues. I would teach them, I don't even call it meditation. I said, just go do your breathing exercise, right? And start with the 5-10 minutes, and they will notice the difference.
Yeah, that's so true. Like I really love meditation and how important it is. And now can we go through, like for a lot of people, I always find it fascinating. Can we go through all the different organs and what emotion that is? Because a lot of people don't, we talked about the liver. So if you're having, pains in your side and you're feeling angry all the time, that's a liver thing. But what about like the heart, the lungs, the stomach? Let's kind of go through some of those emotions that are attached to certain organs. So let's kind of educate the listeners out there.
Okay, so again, the first one I think we most know is the liver. It's the anger, it's the stress and an anxiety, and when your liver flares up and there's a lot of heat sign coming up, and then you will see people like really agitated, right? And sometimes you even have like bloodshot eyes, and sometimes they have that sudden loud ear ringings and bitter taste in the mouth, and all those are signs of the liver. And it's really to anger. And once the liver flares up, it usually goes to affect your digestive, go back to spleen and stomach. And you will see a lot of patients with IBS. That's what it is. It's your emotional, especially if their IBS is worse with stress, then you know its liver is attacking the digestive system. And the other one that I talked about is spleen. Spleen is overthinking.
Yeah, that's probably a big common problem right now.
Yeah, with a lot of people. So, people overthinking, they worry, and the kinds of the energy for spleens need help transform and transportate the nutrients to the body. Once you have that overthinking, that worry, it's kind of binds the spleen, binds your digestive. That's why people have distensions, poor appetite, and nausea, and all this are showing your digestive issues, right? And then we say we have lung. Lung, we said is sadness, right? So people are here a sudden loss, or something, the patient just feels sad. And then especially you will see in the fall, when the weather's when it's in the lawn, like fall belongs to lawn. When the fall comes, a lot of people's emotionally become sad, right?
Oh, really?
Or have a lot of sudden loss of something, and it will affect your respiratory system as well.
Wow.
Okay. And for heart always says joy. For here, joy think it's a good thing. It's, good thing to be happy. But in Chinese medicine, everything is in moderate. Nothing is bad. Nothing is good. If it's over excess, even over joy, it's not excessively like a nice thing.
Really?
So for example, you will see sudden, like especially seniors, if they got a big surprise or something, they got sudden, like it's actually caused the heart is not holding it. So like sudden emotions is not good for that way. And for kidney, we talked about it's a lot of fear, right? Like a lot of fear, uncertainty, and all this is all causing the kidney issues. So that's like the 5 emotions relate to the 5 organs.
Wow, that's amazing. So how many different meridians are within the body? So we have 1 meridians for each organ. That's correct, right? And then we have other ones on top of that?
We have 6, like we said, upper body, and 6 in the lower body. And we have some extra, like ones run from the back, ones from the front. So we have some extra meridians. Yeah.
So I've always been fascinated. So how did they come up with this? Like, it always baffles me because like, I had another practitioner on and we're trying to figure out like, where did these, like, how'd they get these downloads from us? Like how they, was at least 5,000 years or more older, as far as I understand, like to figure out, okay, there's a meridian in the body. There's this energetic line that runs through the body that's connected to this organ, stuff like that. And if we put a needle right here, we're going to change everything. Like I always figured out, how did they come up with that? It's baffling.
Yeah, that's like, it's interesting for me when I started learning acupuncture too, right? Like how did they go? Okay, it's from the book, like who wrote down the book, right? Who wrote all the information on the book? Actually, from the digs, they first had the channels before they had the points.
Oh, really?
They mapped out the channels before they mapped out the points. So I mean, then you read on it if you believe the energy perspective, stuff like that, and you will see like certain people doing meditation and they actually can feel the energy flows in the body, like very highly cultivated persons, and they can feel the energy flows in the body. And I believe that is how they mapped out the channels and the channel pathways. And in China, they conducted some clinical trials. There's certain people very sensitive, their skin. So, for example, if sometimes I needle, even you, when I needle points, your body has a good reaction.
Yeah.
Right? You have a red and you around the needles, the body have a good reaction. And so people are very sensitive. They actually, if you, for example, if you put a needle on the elbow, and then we said it's a large intestine channel, you actually can see their skin would have a red patch or redness along the large intestine pathways.
Yeah. It's so amazing. I mean, my body just loves it. Like,
Yeah.
when I first started going to acupuncture, it's like my body goes, God,
Yeah, yeah,
finally, it's just like, and it's amazing. And my body so misses it. Like once you start utilizing it as part of your overall health program, it's just like, anything else. It's like, for people who do practice yoga, in a way, it's very similar in some ways because yoga basically opens a lot of those same pathways just through the movement.
exactly.
Yeah, it's really interesting how that works too. And because, those who are yoga practitioners know it's like when you don't do your yoga, when you go into a class and you get out, it's like, ah, and then the
Yeah.
next day you feel so much better. It's the same thing with acupuncture. Now, if I had to ask, how do you, if people are afraid of needles, because a lot of people out there are listening probably right now going, there's no way you're sticking needles. I hate needles. I ain't going to near needles. Like, no way. How do you kind of approach somebody like that?
It's first of all, the needles so thin. They were compared. I have a post, somebody was comparing with our hair. It's like probably the same or even thinner. It's like so thin. And it just depends on, I always tell the patient, just let me put a one needle. They don't even know well, they don't even sometimes, most of the time, they don't even know I put the needles in, right? I always say, just let me put one needle and just you feel it. I think it's a lot of like the feel, I don't know, sometimes they put it as a fun, you put like, people come in with like 120, 200 needles. Nobody put that needles on you.
Well, hey, listen, have you ever been needled by Lana Marconi?
Uh,
Just a little shout out to our good friend Lana Marconi. I've had treatments for her. She loves to put needles in people. Yeah,
well, I guess even that it's very fine needle, and I
yeah.
always say there's different thickness. If you're scared, I usually would with like shallow needles and thin needles, and let your body get used to it. Or sometimes I have patients are really like, I can even feel like when I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna needle, they start hyperventilating. I was like, really? And then
Wow.
sure, if they're really that scared, I use acupressure. I use my fingers. And again, it stimulates the same point. And the needle, we always say needle is an extension of the practitioner. So even
Yes.
to pressure point, you are extending your treatment, you're extending your energy into the patient. Achieve the same thing.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, if you're out there and you're kind of like one of those people that are sitting on the fence when it comes to acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, just because of the needles, I'll kind of say, just get over it. Like it is so worth it. It's like, if like, I almost say it's like, if you could just take that needle, one needle, and you can place it and how it can make such profound change, because it really can, like it really can. I mean, that's my belief, and I've seen it myself, and it's been recommended through my readings when I give readings to people too, as well as part of their overall treatment, is to go get acupuncture. And like if you have that one needle and it put it in a certain spot to relieve that emotion, that energy, that stuck energy, to help you, with your life and to help you feel better, it is so worth it. Like just get over it. Like literally, it's amazing. But again, it really is the extension of the practitioner. Now, again, like if anything, there are good practitioners and then there are crappy practitioners. There really is. But it's also about the energy of the practitioner. When you walk into a clinic and stuff like that, and I have to say for you, you have this beautiful, lovely kind of angelic energy when you walk into your clinic. And that energy itself just tells a lot about the practitioner and the treatment itself. Because as you walk into your clinic, you're already kind of healing people as they walk in. Like they don't even really realize they're knowing, but like I feel my anxiety levels just go down, it just shrinks right down. I'm like so relaxed, I'm ready to go. And like you said, it's a really extension of the practitioner. Like when you put the needle in, it's your energy field is interacting with the needle. That's also helps stimulating the energy within the body too, as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I always I teach Chinese medicine too. So when I'm talking about acupuncture with the students, I mean, it's good. We need to learn the biomedical point of view, nerves, muscles, no problem. But you gotta have to like really what is the chi? It's the energy, it's the frequency. You could have to learn that in order for you to have a profound understanding. And for us, when we study Chinese medicine, it's important. We have to do qigong, we have to do meditation, we have to cultivate ourselves, not only when we study, when we practicing too. When even for me as a practitioner, certain days if I don't do my grounding, don't do my cultivating, and I just feel not grounded. And I'm sure that day part the patients can get the best treatment versus if I'm at the primal stage when I go enter the clinic and see my patient, and I'll deliver a great treatment. So that's why I said even use the same point, same tool, different practitioners will have a totally different results.
Yeah, it is so true. And it's like, again, it's that energy thing too. And I always say this to my Reiki clients and my Reiki patients and the people I teach to as well. It's like, you got to really heal yourself first, and you got to be up to an optimum level, because if you're not vibrating at a higher level, if you're not grounded, if you're not, you know, up there, I mean, you're not going to get the best treatment for things. So you're just kind of denying the overall health and treatment and energy levels that that your client will have. And it's
Yeah.
really important to, like you say, cultivate that, because they're coming to you for a specific reason, to get a little bit of healing, to help them help facilitate their own healing. And you got to be up way beyond where they are, so that, because if you're feeling like crap going into a day and it's like, yeah, life happens. And, practitioners, we're humans too. We have shit going on. We have families, we have stress too as well. But to have that ability to teach that too, which is a really strong philosophy. And I really commend you on teaching your students that philosophy, because sometimes it just gets lost in very clinical. It's like, here's the points, here's the organ, here's this, and there's so much more to it.
Yes, definitely. I agree. Then I always mention that you just have to know, once you understand that and you are needle extension of yourself, and you will understand it's important to, you are the tool, you are the healing tools, not versus the needles or the points. It's you.
Yeah. And that's so true. So that being said, if all the different things to do, is there something that you can recommend to people listening right now that they can kind of help themselves? This is really nice about this platform, is that it's kind of reaching a worldwide platform. There's a lot of people out there that don't have access to a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. Are there some of the things that they can do right now that maybe you can give them a little advice to maybe just kind of help them with their own health and fitness?
Sure. Well, again, we're going through this pandemic thing. I think for the past year, everybody, I can see my patients, everybody just had it. They're super stressed and anxiety because the unknown, right? So, and plus now it's going to spring, it's the liver season. So whatever the liver, it tends to flare up and make things worse. So I think now is a good time to do some liver cleansing. And a deep breathing is the easiest way to do your cleanse. Like do your abdominal breathing and just breathing, as we said, is the clear air, and breathe out the toxins you're feeling in your body. The other ones, there's a lot of herbal teas and herbal products that help you to cleanse in your liver as well. And then now it starts so to get some general exercise too. Walking is great, lots of stretching. And then we just have to kind of like a catering, and because it's a liver season, so we have to emphasize on that. And
Yeah.
no, all those, it's going to be generally good for our immune system as well, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Now, just something I want to touch on is that, so do certain seasons affect certain organs? Because I know you kind of touched on it.
Yes, exactly. So for us, like spring is always the liver. So it's everything grow. But for patient has any diseases, spring, especially for allergies, spring the season brings up too, right? So you kind of like have to cater that. And summer we usually is the heart. And then in the fall is the lung, and the winter is the lip, is the kidney. So, and we said usually in the fall, that's where people again has cough, dry cough, stuff like that. In the fall, we usually in China we make a lot of those herbal soups that kind of moist the lungs and to prevent the coughing. In the winter, because it's kidney, so we do a lot of so you don't a lot of like preserve for you to better regenerate and grow in the next year. So we'll do a lot of herbal soups. We keep warm. We don't stay up late. It's just a lot of cultivating. It's almost like the plants in the soil. So they're kind of like hibernating and preserve their energy to be better grow in the spring. So in the winter, according to like classic Chinese medicine, we're supposed to that as well. But nowadays people stay until 2 or 3 at night. Nobody goes to sleep. Everybody's online. It's sad. We lost that touch as well.
Yeah, there really is that disconnect from our own natural nature abilities and stuff like that. Because it seems just like nature. Like you said, you plant something in the spring, it's it's refreshing, and then each organ, it's what you do. And in the wintertime, you're kind of hibernating, and you're regrowing and making sure everything is in balance and stuff like that. And we've lost that touch. And it's just when you break it down like that, it's like, that makes so much sense. Like that's just it's just like, how did we get so messed up? Like it's just, but I really think a lot of it has to do with just the North American lifestyle. I know European lifestyle is a little bit different. It's kind of gone away from a lot of that. But as I've traveled over in Europe and stuff like that, their philosophy is a little different, but it's changed too. It's now like they're coming more like the North Americans, where we're just go, 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 go. And it's just nonstop. Like you just nonstop all the time. And we're not connecting with those energies anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we see 1 year has 4 seasons. Even during the day, you have spring, you have summer, you have fall, and at night it's winter. It's for you to sleep. Sleep, right? We always say it's like at 10 o'clock. That's where your liver. It's the hour for the liver, and you need to sleep. Allow the blood returns to liver so it can filter. It's detoxing and to get you ready for the next day. Next day, who's gonna sleep at 10 o'clock? Right
Well,
now?
I do now. But the thing is, I guess too, is another thing, I guess, as that's speaking to, it's like, you don't want to be eating pizza and wine at 10 o'clock either.
Exactly. And then, well, see, in, I believe a lot of like Buddhist practice or as well, like they eat very light dinner and early. So that's your body, because at night, again, if you have all the food stuck in your stomach late at night and your stomach has to work so hard to digest it, which says in Chinese medicine, we have that's if you have a restless stomach, you will have a restless sleep. So that's it. Right, it's about nowadays eat late at dinner, eat tons at dinner, which is totally the opposite what we're supposed to do, and that's why people has insomnia or can't sleep.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I've kind of switched that up where it's like I have my bigger meal like at lunch. And I like to have that. And I guess because I'm up and I'm active and stuff like that, I'm trying to switch that process where I eat a lot lighter, either have soups or even have a smoothie, try to eat later in, or try to just cut down on the amount of food I have and have it earlier, just to kind of get that process, allow the body to do it. And I know that's helped me a lot. It's changed too, as well as sleeping as
Yeah,
well. Yeah, like try to have your calories throughout the day and then let the body do its thing at night, and you just sleep a lot better. And it's always been hard. Like, I mean, we're in that crazy lifestyle. It's like we eat late, we're either drinking alcohol sometimes, and then we'll have a cup of coffee. And then, if you're having like, steak and everything else, it doesn't, I mean, it tastes good, but
yeah.
later at night, you're sitting at 1 o'clock at night and you're sweating and you're getting up and it's like, God, I can't sleep.
Yeah, well, as once in a while it's okay, but if it becomes your regular lifestyle, then you definitely like they have modern research how heavy dinner at night is how much it's affecting all your health, right? There's a modern research out there which is supporting the ideal lifestyle from Chinese medicine.
So it's best to have your heavy meals earlier during the day.
Yeah, definitely lunch is good. Like dinner definitely is light, and if you can do some more vegetables and stuff like that, because you sleep better, and the next morning you don't feel like you have that kind of puffiness because all the salt from dinner absorbs the water, it's stuck in your body.
That makes so
Right, you
much sense.
feel like your face is all blown up and your fingers all swollen. It's like not a good feeling.
Yeah, it definitely not. I definitely, I feel it now that I'm in my 50s. It really makes a big difference. And sometimes I think that, I'm 25 and I can just eat whatever I want and whatever time I want. And then it's like, yeah, that probably wasn't a good idea, Michael, because my body wakes up the next day and going, oh, why do I feel like shit? This sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't work that way anymore. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Well, Enwei, we're almost out of time.
Oh, thank you. That was such a nice chat with you.
Well, you know what? It's always a lovely chat with you. You're one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. You know that? Yeah, I think you're a fantastic practitioner. We've been trying to get together to do this geez, way back. I just our schedules.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I hope this gets you so busy. I hope that you're going to have to hire more practitioners. Um,
Thank
I highly recommend your services. You're an amazing healer, just an amazing human being in that sense too as well. Fantastic. Now, if you're afraid of needles, don't worry. Her technique is so good, you won't even know the needles are in there. Like if you're having any issues with that, I mean. But can you also do consultations online too as well?
I can do consultations. So I've been giving herbs prescriptions for people who live not in Ontario area. So yeah, I do consultations and for her prescriptions. And I mean, like, again, I says, it's such tiny needle. Don't be afraid of it. If you're really wants to see a Chinese medicine practice you're afraid of, and then we can have other modalities to treat you. So we have many, again, all the tools, just extension of a practitioner.
Yeah, and that's true. So if people are looking for you, how can they find you on the World Wide Web? Where can they find you?
So you can find my clinic's called Bodhi Tree Oriental Health Clinic. So the website is bodhitreehealthclinic.com. So I'm located in Vaughan area, and our clinic offers, all the whole spectrum of Chinese medicine practice, like acupunctures, cuppings, herbs, and everything. So yeah, we want people to come give Chinese medicine a trial. I think we really have our advantages at disease prevention, chronic disease, or help you for recovery.
Yeah, and that's really important too, because it is so encompassing. The disease prevention. For you want to boost the immune system, you want to stay healthy and longevity. It's a really good practice, and it's a philosophy too. It's just a lifestyle that you'll incorporate into your life, and your body will thank you for it. Not only your body, but your mind and the emotions too as well. You'll just be so much happier, so much freer. You just have a ton of energy, and then you'll just be able to do more things in your life. So
Yeah.
again, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Have a great day.
Yes, thank you so much. So I'm just going to close off the show. This has been the Metaphysical Mentor podcast with Michael Philpott. Thank you so much for joining me, and goodbye for now.